All right, for today's webinar, we are going to go over the buyer search habit, the way how a buyer searches, so the buyer search process, as well as their habits, and how you can list accordingly, so that way you are accommodating those habits to be found more and also to be selected more often by the buyer. Few topics that we're going to go over is listing impressions, which is coming up in search in the first page there. Click-through rate, which is actually having the buyer click into your listing. Conversion, which is actually converting to a sale. And then, of course, very important, avoiding a return on that item. All right. So first and foremost, keywords. When your buyer searches within this search bar, every single word that they enter has to be included in one of three searchable components within your listing, or your listing will not come up. So those three searchable components are the title, the fitment chart here, as well as the item specifics down here. All right. So you'll see the importance here, 2013 Sonic driver side mirror, 750 results popped up. Now, typical buyer is not going to want to read through 750 results. So what will they do? Perhaps add in additional keywords. So I'm going to enter in the word white because, of course, with a painted part like this, the color is typically something that is important to the buyer. So take note of that 750 results currently. And also, as most of us are aware, these vehicles, white is a very common color for this type of vehicle. I'm going to hit search. And now we have 11 results. I would guarantee that there are more than 11 out of 750 of these mirrors on eBay that are white. The problem here with the sellers is that there are quite a few that did not actually enter the keyword white in one of the searchable components. All right. So I'll show you an example here. We've got white in quite a few titles. Not in that one. White title there. So that's how those sellers are popping up. But then if we look over here, let's say the buyer takes it a step further and they start using the item specifics on this section. It says 3 there, but wait a minute, we have 11 up here. Okay, so I mentioned that all the keywords here have to be in one of the 3 searchable components within the eBay listing. However, there is also another aspect of this. Buyers can also use these filters during their search. These filters do not pertain at all to the title of the listing. They only pertain to the item specific section within the listing. So I'll show you an example. If you click on this, now we've got 8 parts that were weeded out. Why were those weeded out, even though they had the word white in the title? So this one has white in the title, so we're not going to take a look at that one. This one here does not. So I'll click on that to show you. The reason this seller popped up, even though they don't have the word white in the title, is because they have it down here in the item specifics. So you can see here that if you're going to pick one or the other to add keywords into, whether it's the title or the item specifics, you can see how the item specifics actually holds more value, because your item will pop up whether the buyer types it up here and if they use the filters over here. Okay. Another part of search that is important to note is my original search was for a 2013 Sonic driver side mirror. Now, if we look down, so this one, it makes sense that it would pop up because 13's in the title. Here we've got 13 to 14, 13 to 14. Okay, you know what? I gotta take that off there. All right. So here's a perfect example. Mirrors set of 2, it says 12 to 20. Now it does in parentheses say for 2013 Sonic, but watch what happens when I click into this. The title that this seller actually put in here does not have that parentheses 2013 Sonic in there. So how did that actually pop up in search here? Even though it says 12 to 20 in the title, I typed in 2013. The reason it showed up is because this seller has a fitment chart, which includes the 2013. Okay, so this fitment chart then becomes an extension of your title. So instead of typing out all the years that the part is available for or fits, like the seller did, since this seller has the fitment chart, which we know because of this extension here, they could have removed all of this here and freed up room within the title for additional keywords. All right, so it's very important that not only do you have the proper keywords in your title, but you're also filling out those item specifics so that way you can be found more often. Another great thing about item specifics is it helps to, so I'm going to type in heated, it helps to avoid after sale issues. So we'll notice here I just put in the word heated in the title here. And look what popped up here, non-heated. So because the customer typed in heated, non-heated still came up because heated is actually in this title. So, a lot of times we were complaining about buyers ordering the wrong part and we say, oh, the title said it wasn't heated. Why would they buy heated? Why would they put heated? Because they typed in heated and they were expecting that item was heated. But here it's technically a keyword spamming situation to put non-heated. But the seller is trying to get across to the buyer that it's non-heated. How do we avoid that? We actually fill out the item specific, and I'll show you an e-link how to do that here. I've got some mirrors pulled up. All right, so we find the proper exterior side view mirrors. Now, all the item specifics that are going to pop up are all going to be based on the eBay category that you select here. So of course, mirrors are going to have very different item specifics than an engine, right? All right, so all these item specifics popped up that I can now start filling out. What's nice about eLink, it also gives you a count, so you can kind of pick and choose what's more important. This is the amount of times it's been searched on eBay, so stick to the higher amounts. But look here, if I under features put in heated, and the buyer, as they're going through, they use the filters on the left to find heated. Well, now you just avoided that after sale issue because you're not accidentally having your non-heated pull up when the buyer requested heated. All right, so now we have figured out how to be found on eBay, how our buyers find us, right? So another thing to note about this is if you are including these keywords and including these item specifics and your competition is not, which what we saw already was that a lot of our competition is not, right? So this here we've got, I'm going to get rid of heated and go back to the color one, 750. We already know that so many of our competitors are not including very key important item specifics, right? So what you're doing is you're reducing your competition. So now what else are you doing there? You no longer have to race to the bottom for price because your competition's not being found. So it doesn't matter if they're $10 cheaper than you. Okay. All right, so now we know how we come up in search. The next important thing that we want to think about is the location that we show up on in search. Of course, we want to be higher up in search, right? It's just like Google. Nobody goes and orders a pizza on Google, goes to look for a pizza that they want to order on Google and says, oh, I wonder what, I'm going to type in pizza near me. And then I'm going to go to the bottom of the page and I'm going to say, oh, I wonder what's on page 10. I'm going to scroll all the way down here and waste all my time and see what's on page 10. Right? They're not going to do that. They're pretty much sticking to the top of page 1. All right, so how do you get to the top? Picture quality, solid white background, picture of the part only. You have a solid seller level. So your seller health on the account is like a make it or break it. Top rated is what you want to strive for, but above standard is fine. If you fall below standard, your listings are going to the bottom of search. So we definitely want to avoid that at all costs. If you have any seller level questions, please comment below or send us an email, ebay@hollanderparts.com. If you are below standard, we can help you make a plan to get you back above standard as soon as possible, but you want to get on that as soon as you can. But yeah, so where you are in search, your seller level matters. That pricing does have an impact on it, but it's not the end all be all. And then there are things like how long the item has been listed for and not purchased. Your policies are going to matter. So handling time, return time, shipping time. So if you're using FedEx Ground versus, maybe like a more economy type, because they calculate the time, the amount of days it's going to take to get to your buyer. That's going to impact where you are in search. So there's an algorithm that takes all these things into consideration when when eBay considers your location in search. You can also do certain marketing techniques that will enhance your search level as well, and that will be discussion for a different webinar. But of course, if you want any advice on any eBay marketing, again, comment below or send us an email. All right. So click through is the next topic, and click through means exactly what it sounds like, getting your buyer to click into you. So of course, picture. I'm going to click into this one much more likely than I would this one here where I can't even see the mirror, right? There are some where it's, if your background is too busy, not likely to click into it. So the suggestion here is to have a solid white background, if possible. You're also going to have improved standings on Google if you do that, because they do have filters in place to detect that white background. A title that makes sense is very important for click-through rate. Of course, your price as well. But one thing that is also really key with click-through is something I like to call it flair. Having as many things over here that catch your buyer's eye. For instance, here, there's a coupon that catches my eye as I'm going through. There's a subtitle here that says I get a 90-day money-back guarantee. Tested part, that catches my eye. This seller's taking offers, so I might even get it cheaper. Free delivery. Great. This one here's got free returns, and they're a top rated seller, letting me know that I can trust that they're going to treat me right during the sale, right? So all these things matter when it comes to click-through rate, and you want to try to take advantage of as many of them as you can. Nice thing about Hollander is you do get these subtitles for free, where they would be up to $6 per listing per month, or yes, per month, sorry. So nice little perk of being on Hollander. All right, so that is click through. So now let's say this buyer got me to click into them. Now the deal is your buyer doesn't want to keep going back and forth. They already think that they like you based on clicking into you, right? So now don't give them a reason to click out, right? You want them to convert. So this is your conversion. How people typically lose the conversion is they'll have something up here, they'll have something that's contradictory, or they'll have something that's some sort of like negative speech within their description. So something that's contradictory is, for instance, oftentimes I'll see where somebody will come up here, will say 60-day returns, but then down below here somewhere it'll say 30-day returns, right? My suggestion is to just leave the numbers out of it, right? Just like the seller did, talking about the return process, but not putting a number on it. The reason for that is I see it all the time where somebody will, at one point, they'll come up here and they'll have 30-day returns, right? But then, 6 months goes by and they're like, you know what? I'm going to increase my visibility a little bit. I'm going to switch it to 60 days, but they forget to change it in their description. So how to avoid that altogether is leave it out of the description in the first place. Your buyer knows where to go to see your return policy. It's right here. It's that way on every single eBay listing. That's what's nice about buyers when they sell on, or when they buy on eBay, they know where to look for these things. Okay. Another thing that can cause somebody to click out of yours listing is if you have something down here. For instance, I'll see it in the warranty. It'll be a super long fine print type situation. People don't want to read that, and it causes them not it causes them to lose trust in you. We all know fine print. That's the whole like, oh, they're out to get me. They got all this fine print, so they're definitely going to void the warranty if something happens, things like that. Keep things short and sweet. If they want to contact you for details, great, let them do that. The warranty is up to you anyways. It's not something that eBay is going to get involved in. So again, keep it short and sweet. If they want to contact you for the details, that's what is recommended. All right, so that's conversion. And I think that is it for today. So if you have any questions at all, just email us at ebay@hollanderparts.com or comment below, and go ahead and hit subscribe as well. Thank you. Yeah, honey.